This is Division 2 in the Collegiate Chess League. This is the semifinals. This is Purdue against Caltech. Two very strong teams fighting for the finals, which will be later this weekend against UChicago's B team. These are two A teams, so the best from Purdue, the best from Caltech. And one of the main points I was saying was that Purdue has a very well-rounded team. This is Purdue's board 4, unknown chess variable. He is 21-10. Their board 1 is an international master, Final Shah, 24-10. So about 300 rating points difference. This is Caltech's board 4, M. Zeitlin, Matthew. He is 1800, but he can still get points here and there. We've got some check threats. It's not necessarily mate, but rook here is going to be really annoying. So how to deal with this exactly? It's going to be tough. I think Final's going to be able to win this one. But yeah, as you can see, both board 1s for both teams about 2400. So the major difference is going to be the variability. So Purdue, definitely the more well-rounded team, but Caltech's a very strong team as well. They took down at least UCLA's B team to get here. And that was a very close match. I'm pulling a blank at who they beat before this. All right, so yep, that's a point for Purdue's board 1 to be expected. All right, let's see if Caltech's gonna answer back. Let's look at this game. Math Apples, 2 minutes to 40 seconds. Definitely the healthier pawn structure for black. This knight maybe gonna try to get involved in the game. Blockading the pawn, keeping these on dark squares, so gonna be in the way of the dark square bishop. Here's a check, probably just king back. Yeah, this pawn's under attack. Yeah, this is threatening a fork. Black's definitely more comfortable in this position. And yeah, this is gonna be a threat. Much easier to play this. So that's looking good. This is Tony, board 3 from Caltech. Very low on the clock here. $30 seconds to over 3 minutes. Oh, sorry, I messed up the. I'm out of it right now. After this stream, I'm gonna go eat dinner. I'm hungry, but I apologize. You guys deserve better than this out of me. And all of this is practice for tomorrow. So tomorrow is tomorrow's the big match, D1, semifinals and finals. This is winning for black. Tony's under a lot of pressure here, both on the board and in the clock. That's going to be a free piece, and the knight captures with the fork, so that's going to be a whole rook. Leaving the queen on the board. Big plays by Tony. Less than 10 seconds left. He's fighting on. Oh my goodness. All right, so can he conjure a mate? Queen takes rook could be a thing, and we see it. The other queen can come in. Queen here, rook block, rook check. The bishop's there. Man, oh man. What's going on in this position? Bishop here, queen takes. Bishop here, he's flagging. Oh, he's got no time. Oh, the queen was under attack. That's a piece. Yeah, all right. He throws in the towel there. Valiant effort by Tony. Let's look at this game. So, Purdue off to a hot start, 2-0. Let's see if the remaining boards can try to even things up here for Caltech. 20 seconds each here. This pawn's under attack. The pawn will fall. You can take this with the rook. Yeah, this forces the rook trade. Knight takes. King here. And then I guess, okay, yeah. King up? No? Okay. Pushing the pawn through. Yeah, you got to take this. So Math Apples here. Board 2 from Caltech's going to be up a piece. Hunting these pawns down. That should be a win. He's got enough time on the increment. Now this is the interesting game. Board 4 for Purdue against board 1 from Caltech. He's got 5 seconds. He moves. Down the exchange. Rook check. You don't want to leave this guy hanging. White is definitely favorited here. For sure. There's a bishop check. King back. The knight's guarding the back rank. Yeah, you don't want all these pawns on dark squares. Although I guess the bishop can attack it. But unfortunately here, Adriano has no time. No time at all. We could have given a check and taken this pawn. Giving black a chance to defend and attack. Attacking this one now. It's going to be a little bit harder to defend. Okay, rerouting the bishop. I like this a lot. So yeah, this knight's going to have to come up. Ooh, that's a free piece. That was not good. Yeah, and that's going to be it. Just down a whole rook. And yeah, these are free pawns. You could have taken this one. Okay, this is a good way to trade down. You can't take that because then you're going to get... Oh, I thought that was with check. Never mind. Well, let's see. Black going to try to come up with some sort of fortress, I guess. But yeah, this rook can always sack for the bishop if needed. And that's what we see. So, yeah, this is the right color square. I mean, you see white has both A and H pawns, so no matter what color bishop they have, they're going to get the point. Oh, Math Apples won this one. Yeah. Let's keep an eye on this one. So, let's see here. Pardon me, people. We had, yeah, Tony lost, and the unknown chess variable won. Wow. So strong start here from Purdue. They're board 4, taking down the board 1 from Caltech. So their only point for Caltech is from their board 2. Math Apples against Purdue's board 3. So strong start for Purdue. We'll see if Caltech can answer back. All right, let's see if Caltech, man, having trouble with board 4s. I know UCLA's board 4 also was able to take him down, so we'll see if he can get a stronger response. Also, you know, props to Purdue's board 4. He's a very strong player, 2100, so able to beat any of these players. All right, so both sides, king side castle. Interesting Pawn structure. This is pretty safe for black, with the king defending, offering some extra support to this H pawn. Not even needed. And I would be curious to see if white follows suit with king to h2. If this queen were to come and attack this twice. Although the knight is also here offering some defense as well. Alright, so white maybe trying to undermine black's control over e5. If the knight were to hop back, e5 could be annoying, because it would block the rook. So e5 now, the knight has two options. And yeah, maybe this curious move. The queen could come to e8 as well to put some more pressure on this e file. Also, the rook's defending f7 since the king has stepped up. F7 is a little bit weaker, definitely less protected, and this open f file for white's rook could pose some issues down the line if we ever do see an e5 push. Only in due time, because right now black should have enough to protect. Although I guess, yeah, the knight's here. If we see b5, the knight leaves, then push, takes, rook takes, queen takes, and we're definitely attacking here. So black would have to protect along this diagonal somehow. But yeah, if this knight were to move to open up the f file, there's going to be some issues here. So we see black bringing the queen on over. Yeah, I guess that would help people know who's who, right? That's true. Oh, and I need to adjust. Tony's name is not fitting. It's a work in progress, people. All right. Should I add their... Oh, should I just add it like next to their name? That'll probably be really smart. You are Nicholas. I appreciate you. We might do that for tomorrow's stream. Chuck Moulton. I think this is the first time this channel's ever been rated. Thank you. Welcome, and I appreciate it. Check out Chuck Moulton's channel, you guys. He's a master at Bughouse. And yeah, for those of you just tuning in, this is the Division II semifinals against Purdue and Caltech. So the winner of this match will move on to play against U Chicago's B team in the finals. Yeah, right now this is round 2. So this is 4 rounds. It's teams of 4. So everyone from each team will play everyone from the other team. It's similar to the PCL format. And yeah, Purdue has a 3-1 lead after 1. So we'll see if Caltech can answer back. This is a strong Caltech team. And Caltech also has a B team playing in the finals of Division 4. So the Collegiate Chess League, this is the inaugural season. There are 4 divisions. And the top division has 3 teams left. Tomorrow it's going to be the semifinals between UCLA and Mizzou. And the winner is going to move on to play against SLU. And that match will be streamed on the main chess channel, twitch.tv/chess. So yeah, exciting stuff. And I'm gonna be doing commentary with the Count, GM Christian Trilla, the head coach of the Mizzou chess team. And once the finals start, we're gonna be inviting Alejandro Ramirez, a grandmaster from SLU, repping their team. So I'm definitely very excited. And we're actually going to make it a charity stream. So it's all going to proceed towards American Cancer Society. We're working with them in Relay for Life. And yeah, it's pretty cool. UCLA is actually the number 2 team as of today, being overtaken by Mizzou. So Mizzou and UCLA are competing in more than one way. It's actually kind of crazy. But anyways, more on that later. For now, we got to focus on these games here. So this is a board 1 from Caltech against board 3 from Purdue. This board 1 Caltech chess here, Adriano, he unfortunately fell to the board 4 from Purdue. So he's going to try to see if he can get some points back against Purdue's board 3. Lots of tension on this e-file. Both sides doubling their rooks. Huge focal point on this knight. This pawn cannot kick the knight out, as that would be a big blunder, dropping g6. So yeah, black's going to have to contest it. Probably with one of the knights. Maybe knight's coming to d7 here. Thank you, White Noise. I appreciate it. All right, so going with g4, taking control over that 5 square. Yeah, black's definitely a little bit more cramped. And maybe this knight will be hopping in. Oh, wow, we already got a result. Matthew from Caltech going down to the board 2. FIDE Master from Purdue. Let's see how this ended up going. Not good. Not castling. This is a queen sack, right? Takes. But it's pretty interesting. All right. Anyways. Look at this move. The queen is defending f7. And this bishop here, although unprotected, is enough to get this queen off the protection of f7. And so the queen is lost and mate inevitable. So Purdue building on their commanding lead already. Caltech, UCLA B team definitely had a lead against Caltech, and in that 4th round, Caltech ended up going 3.5 out of 4, and they only offered a draw in their last game from Tony here because they knew that they had the 8 points and they needed 8.5 to win. So if he played on, it very well could have been a sweep. So it's not over till it's over. Purdue needs 8.5 points. Either team needs 8.5 points to win. So there are 16 games, 16 total points. 8.5 is all you need to win. And even if you're up by 4 going into that 4th round, this Caltech team has shown before they can sweep if needed. So it's always going to be a tight match. Although Tony here, again, time trouble, struggling to find a move here against board 1 from Purdue. Final Shaw. Not a happy night. Yeah, rook to d1. If we try to push this knight out, d5 hangs. So tricky move. But yeah, black would love to get an additional piece to attack this g6 point or remove the defender somehow. Okay, so presumably d5 will fall, but so will g6. If I like the trade or not, I don't know. But yeah, knight takes, g6 falls. Tony here. 20 seconds. This a weak pawn. So white targets it. Tony with barely any time. Responding and defending. Definitely better for white. Better structure. Better space. Where this pawn goes, how you defend it, nobody knows. Excuse me. Yep, the pawn falls with check. This pawn can fall as well. It's tough. It is tough. Offering a rook trade. This rook better watch out. King steps up. No, block with the rook. Just trying to keep this off. So this rook is essentially forced to be traded off. There's really no way to prevent the rook trade. So Fennel here would like to keep the rooks on, but he's still up 2 pawns. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. We could see... Could we see this? Maybe not. Just bring the king in. Trying to get the knights off. We had another result. Okay, so Caltech chess ended up getting a win against Purdue's board 3. So getting a point back. Let's see what ended up happening in this position. Ooh. This is a voluntary rook sacrifice, it seems. Maybe not the best of decisions for black. Yeah, attacking the knight because we're trying to attack g6, so the queen has to come over to defend. I guess knight takes is the problem here because queen takes, bishop here wins the queen. So, and yeah, and if you don't take, you've got some really nasty discovery checks. So Caltech chess responding back. We'll give him a point. His well-earned point. So, oh, and we just had another result. Oh, wow. So Math Apples going 2 for 2. One of Caltech's strongest players. Yeah, winning a pawn here. You see, this king is just so much more active. Giving up a pawn here, but likewise giving up another pawn, and this pawn's pushing through, promoting. You would have to give up the bishop. So, oh, and we just had the last result. Okay, Fennel beat Tony. So, Tony, unfortunately, 0 for 2 so far, but he's had to play against boards 1 and 2 for Purdue. So now he's going to be playing against boards 3 and 4, and he's hoping to get some more points back. But as you guys can see, it's a close match. They split round 2, 2 and 2. So Purdue's still up by 2. Caltech not far behind, trying to keep up. And this is the first game of round 3. Board 4 against board 3. Nonchalant en passant, one of the best usernames in the league. All right, what's going on here? So Caltech's boards 3 and 4 still pointless throughout 2 rounds. And this Caltech team, they might be a second half kind of team. They might even be a round 4, the 4th quarter team. So we'll see. This knight is having issues moving because this pawn needs the defense. And yeah, this bishop's really well placed here. This f-pawn would like to get involved, but it's pinned to the king. Okay, so the knight stays on d2, and the bishop instead comes to b2. We might see a3 here, and we do. just securing this bishop's place on this long diagonal. And eventually we're going to see these pawns push. Opening up these long diagonals for white's bishops. C4 now, maybe. Maybe king to h1 to get f4 in. Okay, c4. Queen might be coming in pretty soon, so we should watch out about this. All right, so queen's defending f2. I guess if queen here, we always have knight f3. But yeah, this is three pieces attacking the f2 square. So queen to e2 definitely helps. It's supporting. So anyways, we could see h3. We could see knight to f3. Knight f3 it is, defending the mate threat with a tempo. So where's this queen going to go? Lined up with the other queen? No, all the way back. We could see the bishop come. Ask the queen another question. Okay, we're kicking the knight out. The knight's going to have to come to f6. Or to e5. But e5 looks like knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. You could have bishop takes on h3, unleashing the rook, but also grabbing a pawn back. I think if knight goes back to f6, bishop to c1 looks pretty strong, as this queen is getting short on squares. So maybe black is okay. Okay, so we do see the knight go back to f6. Where exactly do you play after a move like... All right, this is also a very strong move. Hitting the knight, opening up this diagonal as well. And if pawn takes, you have knight takes, you have queen takes, but also I think just like bishop to c1. And that forces the queen here. It's not very pretty. So I guess pawn takes... Queen takes with guard h5, but also the knight's guarding h5. So that's not a very good point. But also you're lining your queen up against any potential discoveries. Okay, this looks like a bad move because bishop to c1 right away, right? Knight here, and we're hitting the queen, but also we're threatening some stuff. So if you go queen here, you have knight takes check, pawn takes, and then queen takes. So instead of losing the queen, you're getting two very strong pawns for a piece. With some attacking ideas, you can bring the bishop in, maybe lift the rook in. So white is considering taking the knight for the bishop and saying your queen is not trapped. Or white's going to move the queen, and as we see in the game, they do, and say you're going to have to sack a piece for 2 pawns, and I'm going to be able to defend any attacking threats. So, okay, this is another possibility. When the queen gets on this diagonal, the bishop's no longer leading the attack, so it's not as strong. But you had to trade knights. You had to take the knight back. And then the queen is no longer trapped since the bishop has been taken. So black has the bishop pair. Thinking about taking this pawn with tempo on the rook. That looks like a good move to me. Because if rook to d1, bishop to e2. So yeah, this pawn could fall, but then this pawn would fall. Just rook here. Rook d8. I guess bishop here. We should look at some other games. Let's look at board 1 from Caltech against One Last Breath, the FIDE Master. Board 2 from Purdue. In the 4th round, it's going to be interesting. Both board 2s will be playing, and right now they're both teams point leaders, besides board 1 from Purdue, Fennel Shaw. But Fennel has had some easier opponents than Jonathan Rosenthal. So we'll see. We will see. Purdue's top 2 boards, they're firing on all cylinders. Who's better in this position? White. They've got the better pawn structure. I'm assuming the king can still castle. But the queens are off. No really major threats. Let's look at Fennel against Math Apples. We'll see if Math Apples can keep the flawless streak going. I see a pawn that's hanging, but it's going to come at a price. Some issues. This king is in the middle of the board. This king looks like they're going to castle long. Alright, so leading with the queen, trying to get a queen trade. Also lending some support along this diagonal if any weird checks happen. I'm sure black has this pre-moved. Not taking here. You don't want to open up this c file yet. You want to get like a rook on the e file and then tuck your king away somehow. Alright, let's look back at Caltech's board 4. Im Zeitlin. Is this a free pawn? I guess not. I would have done rook takes. Takes. Although, I guess you're down the exchange. So it would make sense that white doesn't want to trade one of the rooks. Now, another thing to note is that white has this nice majority. So eventually one of these pawns is going to be passed. I mean, this pawn's already passed. It's connected past pawn. But how exactly white's going to push them, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like just bishop takes. Why not bishop takes? I guess then black takes here. Takes. I don't know. But yeah, c5 is the threat. c5 right now. For sure. So yeah, black just left it hanging, but it's possible it was undefendable. So now black's offering the bishop, and white takes, and this pawn's going to be hunted down. The best bet is to attack a3. Maybe you could push the b5 pawn. Push because then takes. Then you can push here, attacking both rooks. But that was not played. Yeah, giving up this b file, I don't know if I like that. Okay, the bishop defends the pawn. That makes sense. Now, Okay. We need to get this pawn here. Push it. Push it. I guess rook here then. Then just rook up. Okay. I don't know how. We need to get behind the pawn is the thing. But then they're going to be in time to get in front of it. I like h4 here. That was an interesting trade. Bishop can come here. I feel like g5 could be played, and then they just take, and then take. But no, the bishop's hunkered in on d6. Black is preventing white from stepping up. Black going into a deeper hole. Board 4 from Caltech offered a draw. Both sides super low on the clock. The game might go on. And it will. Let's look at board 4 against board 2. I mean board 1 from Caltech against their board 2. You can push the pawn. The king maybe could step up. We just move the bishop away. I mean this pawn's hanging. Not anymore. Takes, and now there's a knight check. There's only 2 seconds, 4 seconds. Not a lot of time for black. It's going to be hard to defend, especially down a pawn. Oh, big fork time. All right, rook could not go here because this is a pinned pawn, and there's a resignation. So board 1 from Caltech getting a very big timely win for their team. Board 4 from Caltech getting a draw, so that's good. Let's see how Tony's doing. 0.5, and I believe that was Peyton Smith from Purdue. Also 0.5, so their first points on the board. Caltech's top board getting a point, so bringing it within 1. Tony and Unknown Chess Variable also with draws. So let's see. Unknown Chess Variable is their board 4, yeah? All right, so both the bottom boards for Caltech getting some much needed points for their team. That is a pinned knight. Oh man, Math Apple's coming back against their board 1. I guess they were always up. There's a check you can give? Okay, but then yeah, you're gonna attack this guy. That's a piece. Down a whole rook here. Also down a lot on the clock. You can get behind the pawn, or there is fine as well. And Fennel Shaw resigns. So what a comeback. You guys tying it up here. Let's see, Math Apple's going 3 out of 3 so far. So yeah, not the round that Purdue wanted, and Caltech is able to respond from that first round. So Purdue starting off hot, 3-1. Caltech here going 3-1 themselves after an even second round, and now they're carrying the momentum into the 4th and final round. So yeah, you can never count this Caltech team out, and it's going to come down to this 4th round here. So we'll see if Purdue can answer back. You need 8.5. So if they tie, it's gonna be a repeat of round 4, except instead of 5-2, it's 3-0, and they're gonna switch their colors. So we'll see if this goes to tiebreak. All right, pretty solid setup for both sides here. White probably looking to castle long, and we're going to have opposite side castles fight here. Should be pretty fun and exciting to see. Black getting ready to push some pawns on the queen side. White doing the same. Just a classic, who attacks first scenario. Black putting a halt to any h5 ideas. Now, this does give something to bite at for white. If they wanted to open up the g file, they can sacrifice a pawn. This could also help open up the h file as well. And white not necessarily needing to castle immediately, but it definitely helps to get the other rook involved in the game. These are the board forward matchups, so definitely favoriting Purdue here. This was the mismatch that I talked about at the beginning. This is where Purdue's well-roundedness comes into play. But Caltech definitely has that momentum. Their boards 3 and 4 got their first points of the match. Only draws though, so they're hungry to get more. They're gonna see if they can get a win. Tony and M. Zeitlin. Matthew. No wins yet out of 3 games. But they still have a chance. This is their last round. Assuming it doesn't go to tie breaks. It's definitely a possibility. Let's see how Tony's doing here. Look at this. Nonchalant, en passant, gaining time on the clock. Extremely comfortable out of this opening. Tony, however, up a pawn. So we'll see if he can convert. He's definitely a little bit behind in development. He's going to have to get these pieces into the game somehow. And white just clamping down on this D pawn. Attacking the bishop. If you trade, the queen's coming in. But I don't really know how annoying the queen would be here, because eventually I'm sure black could try to kick it out somehow. I don't know. You just develop, get this pawn out, get the bishop out. But all that being said, you really don't want to clamp your D pawn like this. So very interesting move here from white, attacking this bishop. So Tony's gonna have to either defend. You can play a move like b6 perhaps. Try to open up this long diagonal for the bishop. Okay, he brings the queen out. He's not hanging the knight because the bishop's here. So he develops with a threat. I like it. So you probably just take the bishop. Takes. And then, yeah, black's going to be maybe ready for a d5 push. Although now you don't want to, because the queen's lined up on the e file, and this knight would be potentially hanging, although it's defended by the queen. But, you know, this is a weak diagonal once you push f6. So instead of pushing d5, we're just going to prep it first. Bishop to b7, all with tempo. I like it so far. Although bishop b7 was not with tempo, but you get the point. This bishop had to go back, and now the knight's threatening any discoveries, so the queen's probably going to move, is my guess. Okay, so we're going here opposite the queen. This is a strong bishop here. This is very annoying. If white could put some more pressure on this d7 pawn, which they do, it's going to be awkward for this knight to develop, because it's so far the only piece defending d7. Let's look at the board ones. So still not castled yet for white. Lots of pieces pointing at this king side. This bishop's undefended. So although it looks good opposite the queen, if there's ever something that opens up for white, the bishop will hang. So what's white thinking here? A minute a minute 50 to 3.5. I could see this slipping in Black's favor soon once Caltech chess gets in some more time pressure. But you can tell they're definitely reluctant to castle because there are a lot of opportunities for Black to start sacrificing. Get the queen over, lift the rook. And yeah. I'm not sure what the move h4 is all about. But potentially white could be thinking about taking the knight. We would see some sort of pawn recapture, and then we can bring the knight back in. It's possible. Black could also be preparing for some e5 push. Incredible blunder. I am not affiliate yet. This channel is not affiliate. And I really don't know when it will be affiliate because like I don't know what I would do with the money. Because, you know, these are college athletes, maybe you could call them. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't really feel like I should be profiting off of their games. But I do have ideas in the future. Obviously, the stream tomorrow is going to be for charity, and a lot of my streams on my channels when I was doing all of the streams from the Collegiate Chess League streams on my channel for the UCLA team were charity streams as well. But it's definitely possible this league could eventually be able to make funds to support these college clubs that join. All right, Adriano here, less than 20 seconds to final over 3 minutes. It's going to be downhill battle from here. Queen takes or pawn takes? Pawn takes. Now the knight's got to move. Coming back. Okay, finally castling long, but losing this a-pawn. Getting both rooks on the king side, but probably too little too late. Queen's defending, knight's attacking. Looks like white had this move on tap, ready for it. Pretty interesting. But yeah, black definitely has a clamp on the position. And you do not want to open this up. The king and queen are just too exposed on the queen side here. White's super reluctant to go short side. You can take with a bishop. Or just better yet. Yeah, you don't want to take with the pawn because you don't want to close it. You want to keep it open. Oh boy. Well, there goes the queen. And yeah, Caltech chess going to go down. Let's look at the board fours. Similar situation except favoring Caltech, it seems. Super low on the clock, over 2 minutes for Caltech's board 4. However, they're down the exchange, but they have a pawn for it, and these dark squares could become weak. So I like this move, hitting the rook, but also pinning this pawn to the queen. So if we see e4, there is no f4. So I would play this like right now and see if they fall for it, because they have no time, right? You never know. So hitting the rook again. Rook comes back. I would try it again, but you don't want to repeat. Only 3 seconds here for Purdue. All right, so this move, the queen moves, so not falling for anything. Not yet. Grabbing the pawn, hitting the rook, so it's even material. Huge outside pass pawn, promoting on the right color square. This could be huge. I'm loving black. There's no time. And their flag. All right, so board 4 getting their first win of the day. And a crucial time. Round 4. Caltech taking the lead. So, well, board 1 is down a whole queen. Yeah, and we saw that earlier. I don't think Adriano's going to be able to come back from this, especially not with this time on the clock. Let's tune into Tony's game. He's only got 26 seconds. What's this rook doing here? Queen here at some point, but then the queen needs to defend the knight because you don't want the rooks to get two pieces. It's gonna be tricky. What is the threat? You know, it looks like a trapped rook, but how exactly black attacks, I'm not sure. And the clock is evening up, so Tony had 20 seconds and Nonchalant en passant had over a minute. Finally, the rook comes in. Now the bishop's defending sufficiently. If queen... Okay. Bringing the knight back. Defending this pawn, so this was a threat. Now the knight's hit. Tony's in a knot here. Ten seconds. Moves the knight back. This looks like, yeah, you take it. You can trade all these down, right? 4 seconds. 3. Pushing the pawn. Getting this bishop out, so that's helpful. Although the bishop's just going to come right back. Trading down. White's very comfortable. Oh, we had Math Apples goes down. Tony's in a must-win situation here. Actually, no, they were up a point. So let me get the point to Fennel Shaw. That evens things up. Oh, but yeah, no. Tony's in a must-win here. He needs to win this match. Otherwise, his team will be eliminated. Math Apples going down to one last breath. The draw offer. Tony's smarter than this. He will not accept because he knows he needs to win. And actually, all the pieces have been traded down. Black has untangled, and he's got the knight against the bishop, and the bishop's on all these light squares. Could Tony make the epic comeback? Everything's on dark squares. I like Black's position here. It's just the clock. Yeah, he's bringing this guy around. If you take here, it's a draw, but you can't take a draw. You have to get the win. Tony declining the draw, so we were in a similar situation against the UCLA team. In round 4, Caltech got their 8th point to secure the draw, and Tony offering our board 3 a draw offer really quickly in a slightly better position. And oh, the king can enter now. There we go. Look at this. This bishop has nothing to do, nothing to attack. It's relegated to a defensive position, but this king is going to body this. The king's coming in, and this pawn will fall. And Tony's going to be up a piece. Bringing the king in, yeah. Knight's here. The knight's going to come here. King's going to come here. King has to go back. No, that drops with check, dude. He's got more time. He should be thinking. Oh, my God. Oh, there's another pawn. Tony's got this in the bag. Come here with check. Come here. King here. Win this. That seems like a really straightforward plan. We're going to go to tie breaks, folks. We're going to go to tie breaks. Tony wins. Huge win. His first of the match. 1.5. So not the start that he wanted, but same with Caltech's board 4. So they're still in it, folks. We're going to go to tie breaks. We're going to repeat round 4. So same opponents, but switch colors this time. And it's going to be 3 minutes, no increment. 3-0 blitz. So what a play from Tony. He's going to grab this pawn. next, and yeah, white just throws in the towel and says, let's try again, let's regroup and tie breaks. So what a close match here. Splitting the round 2-2. Tie break time is 3-0. 3 minutes, no increment. You repeat round 4, same opponent, but you switch colors. And instead of 5-2, it's 3-0. No increment. 3 minutes, 0 seconds. So, best of luck. We could see some dirty flags come into play here. Yeah, I've had a lot of requests to change that. So, but we'll definitely have it up for vote. So let your team leaders know, and I definitely am open to feedback. I definitely appreciate it, and it's definitely something that will likely be changed for next season. But yeah, my thought process was, with increment, players could like play these sort of end games for a very long time, and during like I don't know, a busy students week, you could see like, okay, I can only commit for an hour, right? And then the match goes to tie breaks, and then you're like, oh shoot, I have to be here another however many minutes. But I get it. All right, so round 5 is underway as the players are getting ready to make sure they have the right color. It's opposite of round 4. So you repeat round 4, same opponent, but you switch colors. Tony's getting some verification. Your opponent left. Well, who's your opponent? We've got one game started, the board 4s. We've got one game underway here, so what's going on? Looks like M. Zeitler and Matthew able to get the win against the stronger board 4 from Purdue in the 5-2 time control. Let's see if he can repeat his luck. Maybe it wasn't luck. We'll see if his strength carries over to 3-0 time control as well. We've got the other games. Tony's game has started. We've got the board 2s start. So I think boards 1 and 2 for Caltech lost, and boards 3 and 4 for Caltech won. So that was an interesting result. Definitely. I think Purdue's board 4 is probably favored, but yeah, players moving a lot faster. They're not playing with increment anymore, and they realize that. White's starting a fork here, so we're taking here. Trading down this bishop surrounded by pawns of the same color. So how exactly Will this bishop see the light? We're pushing e5, so eventually this bishop's going to come out. So yeah, this rook on the e-file is really well placed, opposite the queen. So Math Apples is here and playing. All right. And the board ones have started as well. So all the games have started, and yeah, we'll see if they can repeat. Fennel won the first time. Caltech Chess gonna try to play better. We'll see if Matthew can also get another point again. So both sides super even on the clock here. Black has the safer king for sure. This queen's sliding in, getting ever so close. This bishop is hanging, so the rook steps up to defend. The knight can come back, kick the queen out. The rook hitting, instead of going here to g2, allowing the other rook to come in, it's retreating. And now, how do you defend this bishop? Wow, black putting Matthew in a knot here, getting some revenge after that 5-2 loss. So Caltech's gonna have to try their best. That's a free bishop. Queen takes, right? You don't take with the knight because then h3 falls. So queen here's mate. Queen comes back to defend. Not looking pretty. Just continuing with development. Let's look at the board twos. This was under attack, so now the rook steps up to defend. White's threatening to win a pawn here. How to defend that exactly? Bishop here would be a free bishop, so rook comes over. So bishop takes, rook takes. This could be taken, but then bishop takes here. I like white slightly better. The better pawn structure. Only 2 pawn islands as opposed to black having 3. So yeah, white targeting this weakness. Bishop takes with check. So you can't actually defend this unless you step up the pawn, right? Because then rook takes, bishop takes. Okay, we're taking this now? Oh, the knight's hopping in. Knight here blocking the bishop. Yeah, and also, all right, queen takes or rook takes. Rook takes, queen takes with check. You can block with check. Or you could just step the king side. Both sides under a minute here. Let's look at Tony's game. See what's going on here. Tony with that really good win when he needed it, declining multiple draws. And he's slightly favored here as well. So Tony's loving these endgame positions. Opposite the king. Is he going to get this pawn involved? Oh, taking a pawn here. You can push. Yeah, now we got 2 passed pawns. This bishop's defending both, and the king is stepping up, pushing through. King's coming in, boxing out their king. Yeah, Tony's got that. Loving these end games. Let's see, board 2's here. Complicated. There's a check. Both sides at 20 seconds. Oh, bishop with the check. That's not good. You can trade off queens. Defending. Takes. Queen. You could block with the queen. All right. Yeah, this is winning for black. Board 4. Loss for Caltech. It's a scramble. Black is favored here. Put on the dark squares. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why this wasn't taken. That should have been taken, maybe. Tony gets the win here. He had that in game on lock. What's going on here? Pushing, take. Oh, flagged. One last breath. Okay, so it all comes down to this. Purdue has 2 points. Caltech has 1. This is the last game. But Caltech only has 20 seconds. Finalshaw is also probably pretty comfortable in this position. The rook isn't very good against... I mean, you're not going to be able to disrupt this. You can try your best to take and then force a draw, but like you can't take here now. Yeah, black is lost, and black's going to flag. I think Purdue's going to be able to move on. Yeah, these fall with check. Man, so Tony, the only one from Caltech to get the point for his team. That's going to be it. That's going to be it. So Tony able to hold on for that last round in round 4, and then unfortunately not able to get the comeback in round 5. So Purdue moves on. They will play UChicago in the finals. So congrats to Purdue. Hard fought. Congrats to Caltech making it this far, taking down some really good teams to get here. And yeah, holding on, getting that 4th round. Really nice win by Tony there, forcing overtime, but not enough. Not enough, unfortunately for them, but fortunately for Purdue. So good job there. Yeah, they got a point from everyone else, right? All right, awesome. So yeah, that was a close match going to overtime.